How is it going, everyone? It's K Limited here, and I am back talking about another movie today. I went out and I watched Transformers Rise of the Beasts, and I have to say, this was a fantastic movie. And if you have been disappointed with all the other Transformers movies up until now, I don't blame you, okay? I like the Transformers movies, but I understand that they are not good movies. There's a lot of focus on the humans and not enough focus on the robots. And there is still focus on humans in this one, but they did a way better job dividing the time in between the humans and robots, and they actually had a lot of compelling elements going on in the story. So if you don't like the other Transformers movies, watch this one. Watch this one, give it a shot. I think it will change your mind on live-action Transformers movies. There's a lot of fun to be had here. There's a lot of twists and turns, an ending that I did not expect. And we will talk about spoilers later on in the video, but the first part of this video is going to be spoiler-free, and I'm just going to talk about the plot, the story, the CGI, and all of that stuff like that. So let's go ahead and talk about the plot itself. The story follows a character named Noah Diaz as he basically is looking to make money for his brother who has some sort of illness, and he's basically... they're way overdue on their bills. They can't afford medical bills anymore. They're not getting treatments anymore. So he's doing anything he can now to make money. He can't get a job, but he turns to crime. And when he turns to crime, it doesn't go quite how he expected as he tries to rob a car, and the car ends up being a Transformer. It actually ends up being the Transformer Mirage. And that's how Noah Diaz meets up with the rest of the Autobots. Before we even see that, though, it actually shows us what happened years and years ago on another planet. It shows us the planet of the Maximals, which are basically the Transformers that are the beasts, you know, like Optimus Primal and stuff like that. We get to see their planet, and we get to see what happened to it with Unicron showing up. And it all revolves around this key that becomes very important to basically bringing Unicron into any galaxy. The Maximals escape their planet with the key before their planet is taken by Unicron, and then they basically go to Earth, and they break the key into two, and they hide it in two different places on the Earth, and that's when it skips to the future, and that's when we get Noah Diaz, and we get the story with him meeting the Autobots, and him eventually deciding, okay, you know what, I'm going to help the Autobots because Mirage basically says, hey, you can sell me. If you help us find this key, you can actually sell me. You can sell me for any sort of profit you want. And he starts transforming to a bunch of different cars to show him all the different cars he can transform into. That way, you know, he can sell them to a used car dealership and make a bunch of money. But yeah, so that's how this all starts off. It all is about this key. This is how the Maximals meet the Autobots. Interesting thing about this movie is that there's no Decepticons in this movie, and I have to say it was actually kind of a relief not to have any of the Decepticons. There's only Terracons in this. Again, not even Predacons are in this. I hope they make a show later on. Like, I hope they show up later on, because I really want to see the Predacons. I want to see Black Arachne and the others. You know, I want to see that. So hopefully they show up in later movies, because they do set up other movies. So we'll see. But either way, they're after this key. The reason why they want the key is because, like I said, it can bring Unicron anywhere in the galaxy, but it can also send them anywhere in the galaxy. They're stranded on Earth, the Autobots are, so they want to get back to Cybertron, and the only way they can get there is with this key. So it's basically the one-way ticket, but what's standing in their way is Unicron and all of his lackeys, all of their Terracons, which are pretty sick-looking robots, I gotta say. I really like the Terracons. The main guy, whose name is Scourge, he is like basically a prize hunter in a way. Like, he kills any of the, you know, Decepticons, I'm sorry, not Decepticons, he kills any of the Autobots, he kills any of the Maximals, and he will, like, rip off their symbol, and, like, he will literally, he'll use a blowtorch, and he will literally put it onto himself. It's really cool, actually. He has this, like, an arm that's just covered in all of the, you know, Autobot symbols and all the different insignias and stuff. It's pretty cool. And Scourge is a pretty cool character. And he's basically, him and the rest of the Terrabots are all basically possessed Transformers. They're possessed by Unicron. Unicron gave them power, but in turn, they basically have to serve him and do his every bidding. And Unicron in this is very interesting. He's almost like the devil. Like, people make deals with him, and then he possesses them. It's very interesting, and it's a really cool idea, and I really like what they did with that. You even see later on in the movie, he actually tries to make a deal with Optimus at one point. The one thing I will say that I wish we would have gotten to see, we got to see Unicron as a planet, but I really would have liked to see him actually transform and see the full, transformed version of himself. We didn't get to see that, but I'm hoping they did set up a sequel. So I hope that they show Unicron transformed, like fully out of his planet form into the robot form. I hope they do that in the next movie. Hopefully the next movie does happen. But overall, that's the plot of this movie. It was a fun time. It's action-packed, obviously, from all the stuff I was telling you. There's a lot going on, and it is just absolutely non-stop action. And it's constantly developing the story, which is something that the other movies kind of had problems with because they always seem to get sidetracked over some stupid thing with the humans. At least with this, you can actually relate to the humans. You can actually feel bad for the humans because, like, who can't really relate to a character who's just trying to help his family out? Who can't relate to that? And the character Noah Diaz really starts getting connected with Optimus Prime, and he realizes how much those two have in common. And it like I said, it's just a really great movie. CGI-wise, it's gorgeous. It amazes me, honestly, that Transformers movies, this is one thing about the Transformers movies, the CGI robots, no matter what anyone says, they've always looked good. The Transformers robots have always looked great in the live-action movies. And it amazes me that Transformers can get the CGI right every single time, but then you see someone like Marvel who can't even get an eyeball right on Doctor Strange. Like, that's crazy to me. The CGI looks great. All the voice acting is great. Ron Perlman does a fantastic job as Optimus Primal. All the robots that you see in this are absolutely awesome. You get to see RC in this one. And like I said, all the Terracons and everything are cool. All the Maximals are cool. All the fight scenes, whenever there's just massive battles. And they're all really good. You get to see Bumblebee in this, and Bumblebee gets to whoop some butt towards the end of the movie. It's a fantastic time. And all I can really say is go watch the movie. I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. Actually, no, I'm sorry, a 9 out of 10. I'm giving this movie a 9 out of 10. This is a fantastic movie, and I cannot recommend it enough. I gave it a 9 out of 10 when I got done watching it, and I actually went with my mom and dad to go see it. My mom gave it a 10 out of 10. She liked it so much. My dad gave it an 8 out of 10, and then I gave it a 9 out of 10. So 3 different scores, but all pretty high rated. Next weekend, I'm actually going to go with my older brother to see it again, because I do want to watch this again. I want him to see it, and I want him to see the spoiler-free. Hopefully he does not look up the spoilers. And if you are watching this, Slide Bites. I'll leave his link of his channel in the description below. But if you're watching this, do not look up the spoilers, and do not watch this next part where I talk about the spoilers. So overall, though, 9 out of 10 for the movie. Go watch it. It's definitely worth your time. If you're a parent and wondering if this movie is going to be okay for your kid, I would say that, honestly, it's not that bad. The only thing you'd really have to watch out for is there's a lot of language, but I don't think that's a huge deal. And there's also, there's a few scenes that are, not even scenes. There's just, some dialogue that's a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It insinuates some stuff. It's, it's like innuendos and stuff like that. I don't think if I was a kid, I don't think I would have noticed them, so I don't think that's a big deal either. So I highly doubt that, that's going to be something that's a problem if you take your kids to go see it. Like I said, if I was a kid, I would have never gotten the innuendos or anything like that, so I think it would be fine. And there's a few parts that are actually just kind of, scary, because there's a couple elements that are almost, horror-like in this movie. Because when Noah Diaz goes with this girl, there's a girl who's also, she does museum work and everything, and she's helping them try to track down where the key is. When they're in, these underground tunnels, it's, super dark, and there's these spider robots that crawl across the ceiling and stuff, and there's, almost some jump scare-esque stuff, so maybe that. But overall, I really don't think it's anything that would be that bad for kids to see. So if you want to take your family, I don't think that would be a problem whatsoever. But yeah, go watch this movie. Fantastic. 9 out of 10 from me. And you should not miss it. So let's talk about the spoilers now. We're getting into the spoiler terrier. We're getting into the spoiler territory. So let's talk about some spoilers and just talk about mainly that ending scene, because I did not expect that to happen. So right now, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. Here we go. Let's talk about them. So the end is what I want to talk about the most, because they set up something I did not expect. At the very end of the movie, they have Noah Diaz, the main character, talking to a federal agent of some sorts. You don't know what they are. He's like, are you FBI or CIA? Because he knows everything about Noah Diaz. He knows everything that Noah Diaz has done. He knows what he's been doing with the Transformers. He knows everything. And Noah Diaz is just like thinking he's going to a job interview, and he ends up getting confronted by this guy who just knows everything about his life. He knows his brother and everything. It turns out that this guy is part of the government, but he's a good guy. He actually gives his brother free healthcare, so his brother does get the medical treatment he needs, which was awesome. But the door opens up behind him, and it just opens up to a gigantic hangar. And I saw, like, you could see all the technology back there, the military stuff, and I was just like, why does that look so familiar? The government official hands Noah Diaz a card, like this little card, like a business one. And Noah Diaz looks at it, and it says G.I. Joe. And I lost my mind. I was so excited when I saw that they're actually doing that crossover in live action. Obviously, there have been comic books of G.I. Joe and Transformers. They're both owned by Hasbro, but honestly, I never thought we would see that in live action, and I hope the next movie has Transformers and G.I. Joe. I hope they just call it straight up Transformers G.I. Joe. I hope they do that. Just call it like Earth's Heroes or something. It would be awesome. I want them to do that so bad now. Now that it is canonically in the same universe, please give us a movie with both of them in it at the same time. Please do that. I mean, they set it up. So I hope it happens. I hope it does. And there was a lot of G.I. Joe and Transformer stuff coming out recently, a lot of figures and stuff, and I didn't really think about it too much, because I was just like, well, yeah, there was comics back in the day, so, I didn't really think that they would bring it into the movie, and then when it happened, I was just like, oh my gosh, they actually did it. So, yeah, that was insane. That's the main spoiler I wanted to talk about. There's not really a whole lot of other big spoilers for me to talk about. In terms of character deaths, yes, of course the Terracons die, which, it is what it is. I didn't expect them to live, honestly. And there's one good guy that dies, and she's a bird character, and she basically gets possessed by Scourge and Unicron, so she's the only character that actually dies, though, which is good. They don't need to kill off every character like they do in all the other Transformers movies. They kind of make you think that Bumblebee's going to die at first, but he gets revived with Energon, a big burst of Energon when Unicron tries to actually come to Earth using the key. They find out that there's actually Energon coursing through the Earth, and they need some sort of energy powerful enough to basically use it to revive Bumblebee. And it just so happens that Unicron opening up this portal through space and time was powerful enough to revive Bumblebee, and that was a pretty cool aspect. But yeah, this is a fantastic movie. It was so much fun. That ending was so unexpected, and I can't wait to go see it again next weekend. And I can't wait to own this on 4K, because I'm definitely picking this one up day one. So go watch Transformers Rise of the Beasts. It's 100% worth it. It sets up, I think, what's going to be, if they actually fall through with it, it's going to be an amazing Transformers and G.I. Joe universe, and I look forward to it. Thank you guys for watching. I will talk to you next video. You have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.